scholars, today we are going to be diving into addition and subtraction with many different strategies. So we're going to do this for the next few weeks, and this is the first lesson on mental addition and subtraction strategies. So I'm going to write up here some equations, and I want you to think to yourself, what pattern do you see? Okay, so to find a pattern when you're a mathematician, you think, what do I notice is the same in between each of these equations? So what I see is that I can easily solve 40 plus 20, and that can help me solve the rest of these problems. If I think about how these numbers that I'm adding to the first number are very close together. Okay, so how this works is, first of all, I know 40 plus 20 is 4 tens plus 2 tens. That's like 4 plus 2. 4 plus 2 is 6. So 40 plus 20 is 60, and I know a lot of you can do that really quickly in your head. Now when you come down to this, it's almost as fast in mental math because you're looking at 4 tens and 2 tens, that's 6 tens in the tens place. Then you put your ones together, making it 68. Okay, so now this can help me solve these two problems without even having to do very much, because I look and I see all of these have 48 as the first addend, the first number we're putting together. Okay, so I kind of am ignoring that, and I'm thinking about how is the 20 the same as the 21? I know that 21 is just one more than 20. So my answer altogether should just be one more than 68, because everything else about these numbers is the same as the one I just solved. So if I know 48 plus 20, I also know 48 plus 21, which is really cool. I just know it needs to be one more than 68, so that would be 69. Okay, and then I come down here, this can also be a little bit easier using my mental math strategies. So I can see that if I pretend that this is the number 20, then my answer was 68. Okay, but 19 is just one smaller, or one less than 20. So my answer is going to be one less than this equation up here. So when I see this, I usually don't think of 48 plus 19. I think of 48 plus 20. Okay, I think of that first in my head because I know that's 68, and then I just do one less. So one less than 68 is 67. Okay, now I'm going to show you another way that you can solve these that is actually called the arrow way. Okay, so what we would do for the arrow way is we would start with our biggest number. It's very much like a number line. So I would start at 48, and then I would look at my second number and I would think, how many tens can I split it into to easily add it? I can count by 10 2 times, and that's the number 20. So I do 10 more is 58, plus 10 more is 68, because 20 is 10 and 10 put together. Okay, so then I get to 68. Then I could show that down here with 48 plus 21. So I know 21 is really 10, 10, so there's 2 tens and 1 1. So when I show this in the arrow way, I go, okay, my bigger number in my equation is 48, plus 10 more is 58. Cross that one out to remember that I used it, plus 10 more is 68, plus 1 more is 69. Okay, I can also come down here and I can think about how, okay, if I split the number, well, okay, there's a better strategy for this bottom one. So what we can think about is we're going to take the number 48, okay, we got that already, and now we're going to pull this number apart to add it. I know it is worth 10 and 9. It's easier though for me to count by tens. So I'm going to add on 2 tens because I know that that makes 20, but then I know 19 is 1 less. So I'm going to take away 1 and see what I get to. So my arrows show what I'm counting, how much I'm counting up. I'm counting up 10, 10 more, which makes 20, but then I have to count backwards 1 because 19 is 1 less than 20. So 48, 10 more is 58, 10 more, change my tens place, makes it 68. Add one smaller, taking my ones place and dropping it by one is 67. Okay, so I know this looks like a lot, but really all it is making sure you use patterns and think about what you already know to find answers for similar or related equations. Okay, so I'm going to do one more example, and then it's up to you guys to do this in your practice. One more for my eraser, so I'm going to go like this. Okay, so now we're going to try similar problems and show one more. Okay, so let's see. These three equations are also related. 36 plus 50, 36 plus 51, and 36 plus 49. Okay, so I start with my basic one, and I think about this. Say 36 plus 50. Well, all I have to worry about is adding my 3 tens with my 5 tens. That makes 8 tens, so that's going to be 80. And then I add my ones with my ones. That makes 86. Okay? So another way to show this would be like through my number bond way, where I take my tens place and my tens place, and I combine them. So 30 and 50 makes 80. 6 ones and 0 ones makes 6. So 80 and 6 makes 86. Okay, now this is so close to this equation. I can think of this one in my head as I solve this one. So what I'm really thinking is that, well, if this was 86, 51 is just one more than 86, so it's going to be 87. I can also use the number bond way like I did up here to solve, to show, and prove my work. So make sure on your practice you try to prove it with the number bond way or the arrow way like I was showing you. So I take 3 tens and 5 tens. That makes 8 tens. Okay, so that's 80. Then I have 6 ones and 1 left. 6 plus 1 makes 7. So I add on 7 more. 87 is 87. There we go. Now this one's a little bit more challenging. So what I can think of is I know this equation is 36 plus 50. I can pretend that this is 50, and then I know that 36 plus 50 is 86. And then I just take away 1 from that. So I'm thinking it's going to be 85, but I'm going to prove it by showing you with the number bond way. So how you would do this is really cool. So when I see this number, I see that's very, very close to 50. To change it into 50, what I would do is I would take 1 out of my 36. I would take that part out of my 36 and put it with the 49. What's left from the 36? Well, if I take 1 out of 36, that's just 35. 1 less is 35. So now the numbers that I have are right here and right here. This part is 35 plus this part over here, 49 and 1 more, makes 50. So if I look at this, I can see that 3 and 5, 3 tens and 5 tens made 8 tens, that's 80. 5 ones and no ones makes 5 ones, that's 80. And 5, making 85. It's really cool when you can do things like this inside of your head. You also want to make sure to prove it with some kind of strategy during your practice. I really can't wait to see if you can try maybe the arrow way or the number bond way in your work so that we can see your thinking. Yeah, I'm so excited to see what you do today. Try your best, scholars.